One ugly mother.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.
MCM Comic-Con! Hello! Hello, hello, hello! My name is Chris Hewitt, and I'm your host for this very, very special panel dedicated to Predator Badlands! Oh, yes, indeed. That sizzle reel, that little look back at the legacy of Predator gave me goosebumps. This is a franchise that, over the decades, has given us pretty much everything you could want from movies. It's given us one of the great movie monsters. It's given us the best arm wrestling scene in the history of cinema. It's given us Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny Glover, Adrian Brody, Amber Midthunder kicking all kinds of Yautja butt. And of course, it's given us some of the most iconic lines in the history of movies. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Knock, knock, stick around, turn around, over here. And of course, the daddy of them all. And I want you to shout this with me if you can. You know what I'm about to say. Get to the chopper! 3 people shouted it. Unbelievable. I want more of you to shout it, all right? I'm gonna say it one more time. I want to hear you all shout, get to the chopper. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Get to the chopper! It's pretty good. Pretty good. And now the series is moving into truly uncharted territory. Predator Badlands takes us to a remote planet where survival means forging the most unexpected of alliances. Believe me, this movie is going to rock your world. In a few minutes, we're going to meet the brilliant team behind this bold new chapter. They're going to give you exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, and we'll be answering a whole bunch of questions. But first, let's kick things off with a brand new trailer for Predator Badlands. You guys ready? All right, get to the trailer! Enjoy!
The ways of your kind are ones of violence. Either you are hunted, or you become the hunter.
Welcome to the most dangerous planet in the universe, where everything is trying to kill you. Many of your kind have come here. None have survived. You're after a creature that can't be killed.
Jaslan såg i jet, det jet you lightish.
Amazing stuff. That's the trailer for Predator Badlands, and believe me guys, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, it's time to meet our very special guests, the team behind this thrilling new chapter in this incredible franchise. Please welcome to the stage the visionary director and producer behind Prey, Predator, Killer of Killers, and now Predator Badlands, Dan Trachtenberg. Welcome, Dan. Middle seat for you, sir. Please welcome the phenomenal actor bringing your new favorite synth, Thea, to life, Elle Fanning! Welcome, Elle! And last but not least, the powerhouse performer, who is the young Yautja warrior Deck, Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi! Give it up, hello sir, welcome, welcome, welcome. Over there on the right, thank you. Welcome. I've kicked my water over in the excitement, thank God that the lid was on. Guys, welcome to MCM Comic Con. Dan, I'm going to start with you.
Cool.
You have had such a huge impact on this franchise in a short space of time with Prey and Killer of Killers and now Badlands, of course. But this seems like a very different take on a Predator movie. Is it? And where did it begin for you?
Yeah, I mean, it began after making Prey, which was a very sort of back to basics, true to the very root of the franchise movie, and thinking about what we could possibly make next, and really trying not to think what could we make, but what should we make? Like, what is a movie beyond just the Predator franchise that does not exist that I want to see, and I feel like we all really want to see. And that really became the idea of making a movie about the monster, about the creature. We've all fallen in love with a lot of sidekicks and villains over the years. Yeah. And they've never really had their own movie. And so the big idea was, what if the Predator had its own movie? So yeah, that's the genesis of Badlands.
Wow, okay. And where did you go from there and fleshing it out and bringing these guys into it as well?
It was honestly feeling like if we put a human in the movie, we're going to be really tempted creatively as we're developing it, but also as an audience member, we're going to start to really link up with them, and it's going to start to be less of this big idea of like, what if the Predator was a protagonist? And it's going to be just like any old franchise has done before. So in thinking about no humans, it was like, what if it's a movie about like a monster and a robot? And then I thought, I know a company that makes robots, which is Weyland-Yutani from the Alien franchise. And so very quickly after that, the idea of the silhouette, the Chewbacca with C-3PO on its back silhouette of the Predator and a severed synth came to mind.
Amazing. Demetrius, we're obviously used to seeing the Predator as the bad guy, as Dan said. But Deck, he's different. He's the hero. What stood out for you about this character? What can people expect from him?
I think what people can expect from Deck, like you said, people are so, I guess, used to the idea of the Predator being, the big villain, of the story. And it's not that they're the villain, that's just their culture. They're a part of a hunting background, that's all they know. So when we meet Deck, he's going out on his first hunt, he's the underdog, he's very undersized and pretty much just going against all odds. So yeah, people can expect him to come out just swinging, trying to prove himself to his clan, prove himself to his family, but just prove himself to himself, really, that he's about what he says, and yeah, he's the biggest and baddest predator there is.
And Elle, I said that Thea is going to be people's new favorite synth. What can you say about her?
Well, I hope so. I was such a big fan of Prey, and I also love the Alien films, and so it's very exciting to me to say that I get to play a synth in that world and kind of join the lineage of everyone who has, played an android before for Weyland-Yutani. Now I work for the company, but Thea is a very kind of, I think she's very different of a synth that you've seen before. I think our film is set kind of furthest into the future you've seen, so that also means that she is kind of the most advanced android that we've seen so far, which also gives her a lot of like empathy and human-like emotions. So she's very accessible, I think, to the audience, and has quite spunky, kind of fun personality. She's quite funny at times, which might be unexpected to see in a Predator film that, you know, that you'll laugh. But I love her personality. And she's broken. And I think her personality, because she is broken, it informs a lot of her empathy and how she navigates on the planet. So.
Yes, the relationship between Dec and Thea is fantastic. It's that classic strong, silent type. That's Dec. And then there's Thea, who is just a motor mouth in so many ways. Can you talk about creating that relationship between the two of you? And Dan, what were you drawing on in terms of inspiration for that as well?
There's a lot of classic genre films that we drew inspiration from. Minette Run's a big touchstone, but even things like Paper Moon, and it's been around, and the Baby Cart series of samurai films have all been around forever, but never really quite like this, and they really were attached at the hip, to make the pun, but like you guys really were, in every possible way. They were fastened to each other, so.
We would often say to each other, I got you, your back, you have mine, because we were back to back, literally the whole time during filming, like linked up, flying through the air together. That's one of the fun things about this film too, is a lot of it is done practically. Like, of course, there's visual effects, but there's a lot of like movie magic and tricks that we did fully in camera, which I loved. And to have Demetrius there, he's such an incredible actor, and I think to have a film about the Predator being the protagonist for the first time, to really have, you know, Demetrius and his emotions shine through, which we've never seen that in this film before. So, you know, we were fully, Dan cares just as much about the scenes and the emotion as he does the action, and so we connected. We were in it together. It was only us, so.
Only us. I think it was quite cool as well, because you know, there's such contrasting characters, but I think that's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the relationship and even the funny moments, you know, it's not even, like, we're not playing the joke, you know, it's just so outrageous what's going on, like, it just can't help but be funny, those little moments. And yeah, like going with Elle, you know, through the valleys, over the mountains, you know, on my back, it was, it's such a funny, like, experience that we went through, and just brought everyone real close. It was cool.
I want to drill into that real quick, because Thea is in two halves, essentially. So Dec straps Thea to his back for a lot of the movie, and so you say you did that practically. What the heck was that like?
Well, we shot in New Zealand as well, which was so beautiful. So we were on, you know, all these like kind of real locations, and it was a lot of wire work. I mean, there was many different ways that the stunt team had created these new rigs that had never been done before, which sometimes they were wires that we were hooked together, and the wires were hooked to trees on location. And then there was another time where it was like a wheelbarrow almost, where there'd be two wheels on the back, I'd be sitting on that, and then Demetrius would be like hauling me up a hill so I was really along for the ride there, I'm sorry. But but we kind of, every rig they came up with, we tried. And then we even tried one time where I was like, Dan, I think I can do this myself, like we might not need wires for this. And it was supposed to be in shot of him picking me up off the ground, throwing me on his back, like like you would sling a backpack.
We were gonna do it in cuts, and you said, I think you can just get it all in one shot.
Yeah, I was like, I think I can do this. Yeah, and that's right. And it was a lot. You had to use your physicality, but that's what I was excited. I think this role, it was challenging from an acting perspective and a physical perspective, which I never had to like train for a part before or be in this world of having to do the action. So
it's incredible. Dan, when you came up with this idea, did you realize how hard it would be to pull it off?
No, I think I sold the studio on it being more affordable and doable. In like, there'd be like maybe we'd build a bust of the Predator. We'd be close up on the Thea character, and she'd be hauling him in some shots just to avoid some of the challenges that we'd face. That quickly went away, like day one prep. And yeah, I never really thought I'm very much a couch related person. I love spending a lot of time on one and dreaming of things. I'm not an outdoorsy type, but this movie was very much an adventure for the cast and crew. We were putting on hip waders and trudging through eel-infested waters, and Demetrius was doing it in like a suit that like absorbs water, which was ridiculous. So yeah, no, it was really sometimes as treacherous as it is in the movie. It was for us too, but really more satisfying in the end that we had to go through so much danger to capture some awesome things.
Oh, amazing. Demetrius, so you were wearing a suit. What was it like to transform into Deck? And also, you learned to speak Yautja, right?
Yes, sir. So yeah, transforming into Dick was just a lot of training beforehand, just to get the body used to being in a suit. I've never done suit performing before. I usually play humans. So yeah, playing a predator was a bit out of the comfort zone, but yeah, no, it was awesome just being able to really hone in on my skills and try and I guess just get into the psychology of an alien, which is quite unheard of, but it was really fun. And then just looking through all of the previous installments, all the other actors who have played the Predator, taking inspiration from them, even the Dark Horse comics, all those stories, like just getting into woohoo, hell yeah. Just immersing myself into the world really helped with building Dick. And yeah, the language was, man, that was so funny. Me and LA, we would do the what are they called, Zoom calls with Britain, who created the language. Literally my first call, I was like, I don't know if I can do the same. I would just tell them like straight face, like, yeah, of course, this is easy. Turn off the call, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so tough. But it was like, like it just took, the training, repetition. Al ended up speaking, some Yautja as well.
Not as much as you had to learn, but
she's being humble.
They would have new lines for Demetrius like every day. They're like, okay, can you learn this? And then it'd be like, yeah, but he has to learn it in Yautja. So that was. Oh my God.
Yeah. It was tough, but it was just like at the end of it, like very rewarding, and like I got the language kind of for life now. So after you watch the film, guys, go learn the language. We can converse. I'm the only one that can speak it right now, so I'm feeling a bit lonely. But yeah.
This could be a lucrative new sideline for you. This could be amazing. All right, so that's enough from me in terms of questions. The next set of questions comes from you guys. You submitted some questions to us earlier on. Here we go. Dan, first one is for you. Someone whooped at the mention of the Dark Horse comics just a couple of minutes ago. This is from Nathan. And is Nathan here? Whoop. Okay, there he is. Deck looks like a young Broken Tusk. Is Machiko a character you would like to see on the big screen? And are you the director to bring her to life?
I think she's a very cool character, as is Broken Tusk. I think we are drawing on so much inspiration from all the characters of the comics. I don't know that we would ever, or at least my iteration of things, which there will be someone after me, there were people before, there'll be, I don't know that I've been as interested in doing like direct reimaginings of issues of comics and characters from them, but we are certainly drawing so much more inspiration from the comics, especially with this film, and Kill of Killers as well, more so than we have ever before in any of the movies,
Okay, that sounds like a maybe to me. Okay, this next one is from Tim and Emma. This is a two-pronged question. This is for Demetrius and Elle. You've talked about shooting on location already. Were there any specific moments that stand out for you? And were there any funny moments whilst filming? Being strapped to each other, I imagine, was quite funny.
There was a lot. I think my most memorable was the river.
Me too.
Yeah, that was like
the eel-infested waters.
Eel-infested water.
Dan,
shout out New Zealand.
tell us it was eel-infested.
They were friendly eels. I was told they were very friendly. They weren't like poisonous electric eels, but
nothing in New Zealand can kill you guys. Yeah, it might tickle, but no. But that was like probably most memorable because it was such a hard day, man. Like just being in the water pretty much the whole time. Limited crew were allowed in there. All the rigs that we had to do, the lines, like it's so loud. and then we're trying to like
Yeah.
talk to
You're
each other.
speaking another language.
I'm
yeah.
speaking another language.
Yeah, the
like-
whole crew had to be rafted in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Man.
it was like, I think it was one of those days where you could tell like, okay, this crew will get it done. You know, like
Yeah.
I feel like the hard days are the days where you can judge like, okay, is everybody getting after it? Is everybody, you know, trying to help each other to make this film? And I feel like that was what Dan was really good at doing, was just creating a culture where everyone bought into the vision. You know, we bought into what we were making, and everyone wanted to do their part to, get amongst it and try and make some magic. So,
Yeah, and that must have really helped as well, just that sense of being there, that sense of verisimilitude, being surrounded by rivers and forests and non-electric eels. That must have really helped your performances as well.
I think they were scared of me and the costume, to be honest. The eels didn't know what was going on. They
Yeah.
sting.
The eel takes one look at you and swims off in the other direction as well. And Dan, was that important for you to be on location as well and shoot as much of it practically as you possibly could?
Extremely, yeah. Not only just aesthetically, it's what I've always been drawn to, but also even for the actors, for everyone, to have a little bit less left to the imagination, just to have a little bit more, as you said, verisimilitude and feel the adventure of it all. And oftentimes we'll have a wonderful creative idea to use a location in a way that we would not have thought of if we were just like sticking straight to the storyboards and building a set around what those boards are and just doing literally only what that is. When we're on location, we can kind of riff off visually what's already being provided for us, and especially in a place like New Zealand that is pretty magical looking. And I think frequently New Zealand is been linked to more fantasy aesthetic. So it was really cool to bring it more into the sci-fi and have our movie have a more distinct look because of it.
Absolutely. Next question is for you. This is from Caitlin. She says, how important is sound and score to the movie? Because the Predator soundscape is so iconic.
Could not be more important. I'm so much more relieved that our movie is getting a giant IMAX release because of the sound, more so than picture. I think the sound of this movie will hopefully be just south of making your ears bleed, but almost making you bleed green. But the sound design is incredible, but the score for this is, I think, particularly beautiful. We had Sarah Schachner, who we did Prey with, return along with Ben Wallfish, who I did Killer of Killers with, and wrote a really iconic, modern, but also classic adventure score that is badass and beautiful, and it's one of the things I'm almost most excited for people to hear the movie as much as see it.
Amazing. Okay, so the next question is for all of you. This comes from Matthew. If you were to have a predator fight another movie alien or monster, but not that alien, that's been done, what would it be and why? Demetrius, should we start with you?
I'd want Dick to fight Thanos. You know?
Thanos?
Infinity. I reckon he could have taken him before the snap. I'm just saying, I don't know. You can, think what you want, but yeah, I'm taking Thanos.
All right, okay, that's interesting. Elle?
I might say Maleficent. Does that count? I don't know if a classic. I'm trying to think, because like Sigourney, I mean, I want Sigourney to come back. We have some things in our movie too that are of that time, which I got to do, which was really cool.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you can't say the, xenomorph.
No, we can't. We can say Ripley. Ripley,
Yeah.
I'd be excited.
Yeah, Ripley's pretty cool.
Ripley
What about
versus
Angelina?
Predator, that'd be cool. That'd be a nice one. Dan, what about yourself?
I have an answer that's just for this crowd, because I grew up loving. You know what? I had a different. There's two. I loved comics as a kid. I was not a capes and cowls guy. I really loved anti-heroes, and The Punisher was one of my favorite comics of all time. And then I got really into Lobo and Judge Dredd. And there was a Predator versus Judge
Yeah,
Dredd comic that was great. I had that when I was way too young. And so Lobo, there's very much a spirit of Lobo in our movie, I think. But Judge Dredd for the London Comic Con card, Predator versus Judge Dredd.
Yeah, absolutely, Judge Dredd. By the way, I think Carl Urban may still be in the building. We can make this happen. We can do a deal right backstage after this. It'll be announced tomorrow. This is very exciting to me. Dan, this question, this comes from Matthew. No, wait, Paul, one of the disciples. What was the hardest visual effect to create and why?
Boy. So many, guys. So many. But probably getting the face right for Demetrius, for Deck, because if you think about the kinds of faces that you've seen perform, give emotional performances in our favorite movies, they're all very humanoid. Two eyes, nose, mouth. And as much as people will say the eyes are a window to your soul, really the mouth does so much work in you feeling like you can understand how someone's feeling, even if you don't know the words they're speaking. And finding the way in with the mandibles, and not there was a period when we were developing that we were going to keep him in the mask the whole time, and there was a moment where we were maybe going to break the mask and have him be in half a mask the whole way through, and at the last second it just really felt wrong. It felt like that's cheating the premise, that the movie's about a monster and we're gonna get you to feel what that creature is feeling. And I didn't want to make him look less like a monster. So really digging in to find the correct way to animate those mandibles so they feel like they're speaking the language and they're doing what Demetrius was driving underneath it all, was really challenging. But I think now that we're done, worth every ounce of hardship, because it's awesome.
Oh, it works. It works. Okay, our last question is from Ellie, and this is for Demetrius and Elle. Do you think, if you had to, you could take down a predator?
As like we are
As
now.
yourselves, right
Light
now.
work. Me and Al got that. Light work.
Maybe together. Yeah.
I don't know. They're pretty scary.
But I'm friends with the Predator. Like I'm
You
the
make
first
friends with
person.
him.
Yeah, like
You're
he's
right.
my friend. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
just-
chat. Yeah, I know how to deal with them.
Talk him into submission, quite right indeed. And guys, on that note, that wraps up our Q&A. Thanks to everyone who submitted questions for our panel. Thank you so much indeed for that. And I'm afraid that is all the time we have for our Predator Badlands panel. I want you to give a big round of applause and a big thank you to our amazing panelists. Dan Trachtenberg, Elle Fanning, and Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi. Except, that's not quite the end, is it, Dan?
It's not?
It's not.
Fjärmos är hjälpju hjälpjangen. Tis var svårt för många. Leon win och Narr. Tis det uppja och stor. Dokko i jojen.
Blimey!